two, one. Broadcasting tape delayed from the St. Louis Cardinal parking lot where Ryan seems to have camped out. The Sports Economy Show is on. So today's show, we're discussing baseball arbitration. It's a fine, fine deal where blood is drawn with some people. So I was going to read a little bit about what arbitration is in baseball, and then we're going to discuss, some current arbitration deals going on and some past arbitration deals. And I even have one about a future arbitration deal that's going to be pretty messy. So anyway, so arbitration is the process by which players still under team control determine their salary for the upcoming season in negotiations with the team that holds their rights. Basically, their rookie contracts, what that is. This means that a player may only negotiate with the team that controls them and not with any other major league team like free agents do. If players and their teams cannot reach an agreement by the mid-January deadline, both parties must submit proposed salary figures, and a third-party adjunct determines the final salary figure in February during arbitration hearings. Players become eligible for arbitration after completing at least 3 years of the 6-year rookie contract. That's when they qualify for free agency after the 6 years. It's because baseball offers these guaranteed contracts. The one thing that the owners got out of that is like, hey, we get to control the rookie contracts for 6 years. Because after that, the sky's the limit. Just ask your LA Dodgers.
Basically, they'll have probably 2 arbitration hearings before they hit that 6-year mark.
Yeah, and after 3 years, they could have one at the 3-year mark and one at the 5-year mark or whatever it is. Yeah. So, what do you want to discuss about the arbitration current deals going on?
I've been hearing here and there about other teams, but I'd like to focus on the Cardinals players. So Brandon Donovan is the only player on the Cardinals currently in 2025 that lost his arbitration hearing. He's going to earn 2.5 or 2.85 million instead of 3.3 million. Lars Nootbaar won his case. He's going to earn 2.95 million instead of 2.45 million. And Andre Palante won his case. He's going to earn 2.1 million instead of 1.9 million.
Yeah. So that what they do is they present their case by saying, these are my stats. These are other people's stats who play the same position and what they're getting paid. So then that's when they hash it out. If the owners just want to ante up the money, they can. But if they don't, then it can get real contentious with the players versus the owners saying, you're not worth this. So after a bloody arbitration hearing, then, you have to play for this owner and this team, knowing that they don't feel you're worth it.
Yeah, you got drafted by this team and they've been doing nothing but talking you up for 2 years, and all of a sudden you're like, I think I deserve, 2.85 million instead of 3.3 million, or 3.3 million instead of 2.85. And all of a sudden, you go and you're with these same people that's been talking you up, and all of a sudden you're like, you don't deserve that. Your stats don't show.
Yeah.
You don't put in enough work. Off the field, you're not the greatest example,
Yeah.
And you're just like, man, where did that come from? That could really cause some bad blood. And then this guy's trying to, and then, you're in there with all, whoever it is, the owners, and then some,
Yeah. The owners
coaching like, wait, this guy don't deserve this money. I don't respect him. I'm not going to work hard for him. It causes all kinds of problems in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're dealing with the owner, whoever the owner's representative is, and the general manager. And you're in there with your agent. I'm sure some people just send their agents in, but still they know what's going on. And then you have a third party there that's looking at both sides, and they're the ones that actually come up with, yeah, this is the deal. We're going to pay him more money, or no, you don't have to pay this person more money. But like you said, people say they get over it, but they don't get over it.
No, that's all talk. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
I listened to Brandon Donovan said the same thing. He lost his, and I felt like he's the best player out of these other two guys, and he's the only one that lost his case.
Yeah.
He's from Alabama too, by the
Is
way.
this his third season?
I want to say three, 2.5. Going to his third season up in the majors, I want to say.
Okay, so he obviously went for arbitration on his 3-year contract, or
Yeah, his
at the
first
third
one.
year. Yeah, he didn't wait. I assume some players have wait because they feel, well, I'm going to lose this case anyway because my stats aren't that great. It's entirely possible.
Yeah, I can see, them being young, they're probably too afraid to say something about it.
Yeah, I mean,
But
unless their
as you get
stats
older,
are,
unless you care, you're like, okay, I deserve this money. I'm going to go fight for it.
yeah. But like you say, unless your stats are off the charts, the one arbitration case I remember quite well was, you remember Tim Lincecum?
Him, let's
You
come.
know,
San
yeah,
Francisco Giants, yeah.
yeah. He was great, and he had to go to arbitration, because obviously he did deserve some more money than what they were paying. So it was not a good or a good negotiation for. I remember they ended up having to pay him, but they didn't want to. So yeah, it didn't just, go up to the deadline. It actually went into arbitration. And that's all that went on with that. So
I'm glad he got his money because he fell off pretty quick after
yeah,
that.
well,
He's like a one-hit wonder.
now actually I think he pitched for like 7 years.
Yeah, it's always longer than it seems, but his last couple of years he wasn't what he was, but he had a lot of mechanic issues because
Yeah,
he had that funky leg kick and all that,
yeah.
and he was striking out everybody, and all of a sudden he just
But he was not a big kid.
no, he
You
was
know?
little. He was like five
Yeah,
foot 10 or 9,
yeah,
little guy.
yes, yeah. He wasn't like Roger Clemens or
Yeah,
somebody like that.
he was throwing 98, 99, which is
Yeah,
really hard for back then. Now everybody's throwing over 100, but easy seems like.
yeah. But how long can they do it? That's the deal. So anyway, I just want to talk about the guy that plays for Pittsburgh. Was his name Paul Skeens?
Schemes.
Yeah, he had a great rookie year. If he has 2 more years like this, he's going to come up from arbitration. I work with a Pittsburgh Pirate fan, and he says they're just going to trade him because that's what Pittsburgh does. They're not even going to try. They're not even going to try to come up with the money. They're just like, we'll just trade him. We could probably get 2 starters and half a minor league team for him. So,
minor league thing.
But I don't know how long he can go. Pitching's a hard thing. I mean, some pitchers like, let's say, Greg Maddux went for a long time with no real injury issues, and then there's some people they're hurt every other inning, like Steven Matz on your favorite team, the St. Louis Cardinals. Is he going to be a dependent on starter this year?
Absolutely
No. Absolutely not.
I think he had one good year with the Mets, and then he signed with the Cardinals and hasn't been healthy since.
He had like 3 good seasons with the Mets, and then he either became a free agent or traded to Toronto. He was there for a few years, and the next thing he shows up for the Cardinals, he's been there for 3 years. He's been hurt, but because he's a free agent, he's making pretty good money. See, that's what everybody strives for. If you can make it 6 years, you're a free agent. You're going to be making some pretty good money. Look at Lance Lynn.
Yeah.
You know, that dude has pitched in a whole bunch of places, and he's still making millions of dollars.
He's got a rubber arm. He don't never get hurt.
He's never been hurt.
Keeps on going, man.
Yeah, he's never been hurt that I know of. Where's he at? Is he?
I don't even know who he signed.
The White Sox, maybe. Anyway,
he went back to the White Sox.
I think so, but I don't know. Anyway, I don't keep up with everybody.
Well, at this point, he's just playing as long as he can to make the most money, and then he's done.
But wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
If somebody's going to pay me millions of dollars,
as long as I'm still having, as long as I'm still having fun, I'm going to pitch, and I'm definitely going to play 10 years to get the pension.
I don't think that really matters a whole lot when you're making
but still,
say 80, 70 to 80 million dollars.
It would just be a goal of mine for some reason. I'm like, I've already made millions of dollars, but I just want to hit that 10-year mark to get the pension. And then you get the little badge thing where you can go to any stadium.
You get free sodas at every stadium you go to.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, I earned this. I absolutely earned this.
I earned this hot dog and free soda.
Yeah. And I walk into Texas Ranger Stadium and nobody knows who I am. But hey, I've played in the big leagues for 10 years.
Yeah. That's a lot of
people. I like it.
There's a lot of players out there that have played for 10 years and I go, who are you? Yeah, you don't know who they are, but they've made it. And a lot of these guys are people that never try for arbitration because they know that they won't get it.
Yeah.
But you could try for arbitration and they say, no, we're not going to do this, and you just drop the case because if you go, they'll just beat you down. I bet that happens a lot. Players like, I'm going to try for arbitration, and they start looking at their stats compared to their peers on the same position. Like, I probably ain't going to make it. So you're just stuck with league minimum, which is what's league minimum this year? Almost 600 grand. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it's almost. Is it 500 something?
Was it
around there?
Last time I checked, I think it was 525. So I'm sure they've increased it, since a couple of years ago. But it's still a pretty good deal if you can stay on the team. That's the deal. It's hard staying on the team because there's so many players that are trying to get there, and the roster's only this big, and you have to perform to stay on that roster. It's hard, man. Pro sports is hard.
Yeah.
Everybody looks like, oh, this is new. It's hard because in baseball, there's literally 500 people. What do you get, a 25-person roster? No, it's more than that. They carry 23 pitchers? Not 23 pitchers. I'm sorry, 12 pitchers. Yeah, 12 pitchers. Yeah, the roster. Yeah, the roster's 24 people. So was it 24 times 30? How many was that? My trusty handy dandy calculator out here. 24 times 30. 720 people. There's 720 people in the entire world that can play Major League Baseball at one time. Man, that's hard to do, to stay on a team, and then you want to be on the team in the majors for 10 years. Whoo! You better be good. Yep, you better be good.
Once the playoffs hit, the rosters expand a little bit.
Yeah, they expand the rosters in September with your September call-ups.
Yeah.
Probably like 20 people. It seems like, man, look at all these players in the dugout. The dugout's full of people out there.
And something I noticed, I've been to a few playoff games, and so I went to the 2019. I went to the Cardinals and Braves playoff series in Atlanta,
Yeah.
And the Cardinals brought some of their players that wasn't even up on the roster. Like
Oh,
they were out on the
they
field,
can
they were out on the field practicing, and like they weren't even on the roster. Like,
so they can bring
how,
players that aren't on the roster and
yeah,
travel with them. I didn't know that. Okay,
yeah.
how about that? So yeah, anyway, it's hard making a team. And if you feel like you can make more money in arbitration, because that's 6 years is a long time, because you're thinking, am I going to last 6 years? Especially as a pitcher, is my arm going to hold together? But, if you can get 6 years, you can get that guaranteed contract, which is generally is a large contract,
Yeah, in my opinion, if you even make the major leagues, you're very fortunate because most guys don't even
Yeah.
make it. I know.
No,
I,
they
I
do
played
not.
against the kid from Southeast Missouri. He's from Malden. He was a fourth round draft pick. I don't. That's pretty high.
That's pretty high.
That's
Yeah.
pretty high for
Yeah.
especially for a high schooler, and he never
Yeah.
made the major leagues.
Yeah. Never
Never
made
made
it.
it.
Yeah. I've met quite a few players that made AAA, but that's as far as they went, because it's
Yeah.
like you made it there, and then it's like, I just not good enough to make it. There's a guy out here. He is a PE coach, and he was in the Cubs organization. I think it is. He made he's in triple A. He was a pitcher. He said the last pitch he ever threw was a home run to what's his name? Plays for the Angels. Names escapes me right now. So anyway, so yeah, he said that was the last pitch he ever threw, and then they took him
Mike
out of the
Trout.
game. Mike
No.
Trout, yes,
Oh,
yeah,
I say that's
yeah,
the only guy on the Angels I really know.
yeah. Anyway, yes, he said. Yeah, that's what he said. He said that the last pitch I ever threw was to Mike Trout. He had a home run off of me. They took me out of the game, and I never made it back. So
That's funny you say that. One of my friends from he lives right behind me. He's from Illinois,
yeah,
and the guy he's a high school baseball coach, and a guy he used to coach with, but he still coaches in the area. At one time he's from your area, close to your area. He's from the DC area,
okay,
and he got drafted by the Braves, and he was in the organization the same time as Adam Wainwright was in the Braves organization.
yeah.
And this guy was the number one pitching prospect in the Braves organization over Adam Wainwright.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
He's
How
like,
about that?
yeah, he comes and hangs out with us every now and then. He's a
Yeah.
pretty cool guy, and I'm just like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I actually have Adam Wainwright's dad's number in my phone.
Did he make it to Atlanta
No, he
for any
never.
time at all?
Well, no, not with the Braves, but he got called up to the major leagues, but not with the Braves. He played for the
Okay.
Blue Jays. He was up with the Blue Jays.
Okay. So how long do you play?
Uh, wasn't too long.
I mean, did he play a
Maybe.
year?
Oh, yeah, he played longer than that. He
Oh,
played.
okay.
I want to say at least 4 or 5 years.
Oh, okay. All right. So
Yeah,
he had it.
So
So he had some time playing in the major leagues.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's a big deal, man. But the ability to make it, and the NBA is even smaller. Each team only has 12 people.
Yeah, and then
Whew,
the
it's
NBA is
hard.
even harder because the NBA is becoming younger and younger every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just
And
as soon
the
as they said, oh, you got to be, was it 19 years old to get drafted?
19, you got to be 19 to go to make an NBA roster. Yes.
It was over with. Man,
Yeah. So anyway,
the guys that are 34 years old and still can ball.
yeah. Yeah, they
Like
take them off. You get kicked off the roster for a 19-year-old
Yeah.
that you don't.
You
You know,
either
he looks real good.
you're either
in
going
that.
overseas or you're retiring now.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as
Yeah,
they did that,
you
they
get
want
kicked
the
off the
young guns.
team. You get kicked off the team for a guy that looks real good on YouTube. But then he starts playing. You're like, he's not that great. so anyway, so that's why you got to get the money while you can. That's why you have to get out there and you got to fight for your arbitration, man. You got to fight for it. Don't let them owners take advantage of you. And they write contracts, man, that cause all kinds of issues. I was listening to somebody talk about some football player signed a contract and they were reading it. And it's like, it's got so many incentives in it that literally, if he doesn't meet all these incentives, he ain't going to make much of anything. So I'm like, why in the world would he sign that? This guy's a free agent. It's been around the block for a little while. So, whatever. It's hard out there. It's real hard. So, well, that's all I got. Pay attention to Paul Skeens when he comes up for arbitration. We'll do another show when Paul Skeens comes up for arbitration. See how that goes.
Well, I would say there's no doubt he's going to get his money one way or another.
Well, like I say, the guy I work with said they're going to just trade him.
Yeah, just like they do. Maybe they'll do him like Andrew McCutcheon and get him back when he's old.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Get him back when he's 38 years old, like the St. Louis Cardinals pitching roster. What's the average age of the Cardinals pitching roster this year? 36? 35, 36?
Michaelis is about 34, 35. Sonny Gray's about 32, 33. I would say all the rest of the guys are young, though. Fetty's young. He's maybe 30, 31.
Okay.
Palante's young. He's in his 20s.
But the pitching roster is over 30 years old. That's their average age. It's over 30.
Yeah, most of them.
Okay. All right. That'll get you far, maybe.
Your boy, Steven Matz, that's your favorite pitcher. Apparently, you always bring him up. He's 34, 30. He's about 33, 34.
You know why I bring him up? Because he makes a lot of money and has never finished the season. That's why.
Hey, he's smart. He's smart.
Yeah. You
got to work for it.
Me and this guy, we used to say, they're just stealing money. That's what they're doing. They're just stealing money. So, all right. Well, that's all I got today. Do you have anything else pertinent to bring up before the end of the show here?
No.
You want to go back and watch some more college basketball?
Yeah. I think Kentucky won.
Yes, they won.
About time.
About time. Well, yes, it is.
Off their last two first rounders.
Yeah, Calipari, he didn't care anymore. Now, tomorrow's Calipari's playing Ricky Pitino, little Ricky.
I feel sorry for John Calipari. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
because he's about to get the door blown off him, son.
St. John's is really good, but the problem with St. John's, I don't know if it's a problem, but it takes them 3/4 of the first half to get going. I watched about 4 games of theirs this year. It takes them to like the 10 or 8 minute mark in the first half to finally get over 20 points. Anyway,
they still won by 30, but
yeah. The second half, they're great.
They're going to wear Arkansas out. They don't have any depth. They only go like 7 guys, 8 guys deep, and then their best player wasn't even playing. So I don't know if he's going to play or not.
Who's that?
Thiero, the one that played Kentucky last year.
Yeah. Thiero's not playing.
Yeah, he's their best player. One of their best players.
He didn't play yesterday on their game. So, all right. Well, that's all I got. So, remember, folks, like and subscribe to this channel because we need a gazillion dollars so we can hire lawyers to fight for the baseball players in arbitration because they deserve more from them stinking owners. So long, everybody.
So long, everybody.